Temperatures are dropping outside, but on the ice, they're heating up. And for a fantasy GM, you're tapped right back into your daily source for fantasy hockey news and betting breakdowns, the Locked On Fantasy Hockey Podcast. Thursday edition takes a look at some rapid fire NHL-wide news and a classic segment of Who Would You Rather Own with two forward young guns. Let's take a look at it and let's get this paper.
You're Locked On Fantasy Hockey, your daily podcast on fantasy hockey.
Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hockey heads, fantasy fanatics, and degenerate gamblers, stand up, unite. It's your show, the Locked On Fantasy Hockey Podcast, coming in hot and heavy for a Thursday edition with the dynamic duo. I am joined, as always, by my distinguished co-host, Mr. Steele, wrote in, and on this side of the microphone, it's your boy, Big Flip Livingstone. Shout out, salute, and thank you so much to the everydayers holding us down and making us your first listen every single day. Today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. My friends, Mr. Rodin, you know what it is. We try and get you guys in and out in 30 minutes every single day, Monday through Friday, including bets, all the fantasy news and league-wide news that you need. So if you don't mind, I usually turn it over to you right away, but I want to fire off a few topics, and then you can take it away, my friend, because we're trying to keep things succinct, even though that's one of our struggles. Look, right off the top, some news, rapid fire. Nylander, we're recording early, could be day-to-day. Game time decision headed into Wednesday against the Kings. Keep your eye on it. Joseph Woll starting to take shots. Still not practicing with the big club, Steele. You drafting Anthony Stolarz and anyone else out there, I would lean heavily on him in the near future. Right now, Joseph Woll, I have zero confidence in him, and that's because I'm an owner of him myself. Darcy Kuemper, he is looking like day-to-day. That's a David Rittich situation. I want to turn it over to you, though, for two things. Filip Gustavsson, goalie goal. I know you're feeling that. And number two, Ovi to the right wing. First time in almost a decade. Let's talk about those last 2 points quickly, and then we're going to get to the who would you rather between Stutzle and Keller, and, of course, wrap up with bets. I'm done, my friend. Over to you. Take it away anywhere you want to go, realistically, but let me know what you're looking at.
Yeah, I mean, I'll start off the top with that first talking point of Joseph Woll. I mean, I have zero confidence in this guy right now. I mean, especially with the way Anthony Stolarz has played early on in the season, he's going to have to battle hard if he wants to take over as the number one goaltender for the Toronto Maple Leafs. And even then, they've got Hildeby, maybe even Matt Murray gets a chance in front of him. So there's lots in line right now, but it's clear and away Anthony Stolarz' crease. He's been spectacular early on to start the season. So much confidence in his game. That's, like you said, that's why I've drafted him in two of my fantasy leagues this year. So that's number one. Number two, Darcy Kuemper. I'm not sure exactly what the injury is. It might be just a day to reconcile and try to figure out what happened in that game against the Ottawa Senators. So day-to-day for Darcy Kuemper. We'll leave it at that with those two goaltenders who are injured as of right now, or at least injured for the next couple of days. I want to talk about Filip Gustavsson, because what a game that was for my Minnesota Wild out there. Kirill Kaprizov getting it done. Ryan Hartman getting on the board early. And Filip Gustavsson scoring a goalie goal on the power play as well.
Yeah, that's amazing.
That's got to be the first goalie goal on the power play in the National Hockey League, in the history of the National Hockey League. So that's number one. Number two, it was spectacular fashion to do it against a division rival of the St. Louis Blues as well. So that's a little bit more salt in the wound. I've got a couple of buddies out there. Austin, if you're listening, St. Louis Blues, they are not anything matched up against the Minnesota Wild over here.
Shots fired.
I got a shot fired out there from my boy Austin out there. If he's tuning in, he must be.
I hope he is.
I hope he is. Got to subscribe and listen Monday through Friday, 7 o'clock in the morning. That's number two on the list. But look, Filip Gustavsson has looked pretty decent so far as well early on in the season, but getting a goalie goal to start off the year is just absolutely incredible. So got to mention that right now. And then, I'll hand it back over to you about this
Please.
Alex Ovechkin news. I mean, it's not crazy or anything. He's
No.
played left wing his entire career. He's shifting over to the right wing to make some room to make some line adjustments for this Washington Capitals club right now, but it's not major news. I mean, maybe it is if you're in a positional league right now, depending if you have a limit on some of those positions. If that changes for your format, maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. But for me, it's not a big thing. I mean, he's just moving from the left to the right side.
Not a big thing, but when it comes to line shuffling and getting things going for Ovi, a player that despite, one goal this season, only 2 games. Sorry, I don't even actually, that's the wrong numbers. I was looking at another guy. I don't even know what Ovi's numbers are this season. I don't think he's popped one yet. I think he has a couple of assists if I'm just going on my gut there.
He has a few assists.
Thank you very much. He played the right wing in the 2012 and 2013 season, as well as the 13-14 season. Adam Oates moved him over to his natural side. And take this in. He led the league both years in goals. So I think he's going to do just fine wherever he plays. But this is a Washington group that is going to have to get a little creative in that top 6. I think he's playing with Dylan Strome and the young kid. However, we're paying attention to these situations. And let me just throw this at you, Steele, because I do have Filip Gustavsson. I believe it's in our casual league. It's in one of our leagues. The last couple of goalies to pop one, Tristan Jarry, Linus Ullmark, Pekka Rinne, and Kookie Mike Smith. Before that, Martin Brodeur, Cam Ward, Chris Mason. It's just one of those fun things. And honestly, when I look at it as a Gustafsson owner, I really wish we would get a little bit of love for that goal. Wish I could get some points. In terms of Kuemper, keep your eyes peeled. Big Save Dave is going in the cage. It will not be Phoenix Copley who's taking starts away from Darcy Kuemper. It's going to be Big Save Dave. So take a look at that situation, eyes peeled. And you and I come on here as honest fantasy GMs. I have Joseph Woll in my Keeper Dynasty League, and this is straight up doo-doo, Steele. And I'm a little bit rattled that you took Stolarz off my table in both leagues, but that's what astute fantasy hockey GMs do, and it's because you got your finger on the pulse. And that's what I implore anyone out there listening on today's episode to continue to do. I've been a victim of it myself, and that's why I'm trying to just give you some of these rapid-fire news pieces off the top, especially, Steele. Again, sticking to our guns, you know how near and dear goaltending lineups, rosters are to my heart. However, we got to talk about a couple of forwards. Who would you rather after the break if you're good with it? We got dogs to walk. We got bills to pay, my friend. And we got Thursday's bets coming up. Looking to keep it rolling. Your boy, big start. I don't know about you, Steele, but I'm feeling a big hot heater coming in. Let's go. Tomorrow's episode, don't miss it. And today's episode brought to you by our friends at FanDuel Sportsbook. Hey, NFL fans, you better start this season with a big return on FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. When you get a hunch in the middle of the game, check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the exact same page where you're placing your bets. You'll get started with $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place your first $5 bet. And of course, that's on FanDuel.com, America's #1 sportsbook.
And thank you so much for making the Locked On Fantasy Hockey Pod your first listen every single day. Thank you so much for getting us to over 1,700 subscribers on YouTube now. Big milestone for the boys right here. So thank you so much for all that love and support you've been showing us. We really do appreciate it. Continue to do so. Hit the subscribe, the follow button, leave a 5-star review. It really does mean so much to both Flip and I. So thank you so much for that. We got to show that love back to all of our listeners out there. But let's show some love to a couple of young guys right now. Some guys who have started the season off very well. Clayton Keller, 6 points in 4 games. Tim Stutzle, 6 points in 3 games. They've started the season off with a bang for both of their respective clubs. Who would you rather, though? That's the question we're getting into. Who would you rather on your fantasy hockey team? Clayton Keller or Tim Stutzle? Who is it, Flip?
This is a cornerstone segment for you and I, pal, and I appreciate that this is the first one of the new season. And, I like to throw in caveats, cop-outs, and otherwise. I think this comes down to the format of the league, because I think if it's banger leagues and leagues counting those peripheral categories that I know you love so much, I think it's got to be Timmy Stutz. I know I was calling him Timmy Dives. I think I like Timmy Swims as well. I think there's an artist out there named Teddy Swims, and that just sounds very nice.
Yes, there is.
I'm not here to chirp the kid. He is still only 23 years old, and I know I was doing some very silly things at that age, Steele, but he's a professional hockey player. And I think if he tightens it up a little bit, the sky is the limit, and he already has 6 points in 3 games. He is chipping in with hits already, doing his thing. He's had triple digits in hits the last 3 seasons. For me, it's Timmy Stutz. I want to go back and forth a little bit here, so I'm not going to keep the mic too long. I'm going to give you your time. Clayton Keller, though, it's hard to kind of make this argument right now, given how good that top 6 forward group looks, given how good the Utah Yeti look, and yeah, I'm just going to keep calling them that because that's their name. However, I think I'm going to make some arguments for my boy as well. However, right now, considering how hot both of them are, I think we just needed to come on here and talk about it because they're 2 fantasy studs that are cooking right now.
It's going to be so funny if Utah Hockey Club comes out and they're not the Yeti, because you've been calling them been calling them the Yeti for the last few months, and it's going to be hilarious if that's not what their actual name comes out to be. Look, these are 2 very, very incredible hockey players. Clayton Keller, now 26, 27 years old. And Tim Stutzle, he's 23, 24 years old. So guys who are 22, actually, for Tim Stutzle, he'll be 23 in a month or so. But these are 2 incredible young hockey players right now. And for me personally, again, like you said, I think if we're copping out, if we're doing that,
why not?
If it's a banger league, I'm going with Tim Stutzle because he does, like you said, 3 consecutive seasons of 100+ hits. He can have some he had that season of 54 penalty minutes. I know Clayton Keller has taken some pretty high penalty minute seasons as well, 49 for him a couple of seasons ago. So if it's banger league, I'm going with Tim Stutzle. On a year-to-year format, it's got to be Clayton Keller. And for me, there's actually no question about it right now, because when you look at what Clayton Keller has been and what he's done over the last 7 years with the same organization, the Arizona Coyotes, now Utah Hockey Club, he's had nothing to work with. He was actually coming into the league as a rookie, leading that organization. If I go back to his rookie season, 2017, 2018, he led the team with 65 points. The next in line, Derek Stepan. And you got Max Domi on the list. You've got Oliver Ekman-Larsson. You've got a couple of guys, but he had no one to work with. Alex Goligoski, Christian Dvorak, Max Domi, like I said, Nick Cousins, Richard Panik, Anthony Duclair.
Okay, I get it.
Yeah, okay. He had nothing to work with for the first 6 years of his National Hockey League career. It was almost unbearable. But now look what he's done over the last few seasons. For the most part, he's always been a playmaker. He's been able to facilitate, playmake, set up his teammates. He wasn't able to take those opportunities, scoring chances, and so much in the offensive zone. The last 2 seasons, he's had 30+ goals, 30+ goals with over 75+ points in back-to-back years. He's getting some young guys in the lineup that can actually help him out now to give him some more scoring opportunities. Dylan Gunther, Logan Cooley, who's now showing his playmaking ability. I'll throw it back over to you, but I like the look of this Utah club with all their young prospects now getting a chance and some opportunity. It's going to help out Clayton Keller in the long run, and it's already showing right now in this season.
Excellent point about the talent around him, and now what is he going to be able to do with it, obviously being the best forward group that he's played with in his career. I'll make another point that I hope is equally as valid is Timmy Stutz is 3 years younger than Clayton Keller, and I think we haven't even seen nearly the best from him. So whereas I like your angle here with the players around him, that's a very valid one and a good one that I actually didn't think we would bring up, but we needed to. So shout out to you. However, Timmy Stutz has an equally as good group around him, in my opinion. Yeah, not as promising, perhaps, long-term. Maybe not as many young guns. But Claude Giroux, Brady Tkachuk, my boy Drizzy Drake. I like what's going on here with the Shane Pinto action.
Yeah.
And Stutzle's age, and I thought that's what I just saw in terms of games under their belt. Stutzle only has 288 games under his belt compared to, I think Keller was he's well over 500. So
524.
Thank you very much for confirming those numbers. That's a struggle for me, my guy. However, I think that's the angle I'm going to buy in here too, a little bit more as well. Right now, points league year to year, I'm going to agree with you, I think, for the most part. However, for every other angle and in the long run, I'm going to go with my boy, Timmy Swims. He has proven in his small sample size compared to Keller's that he has that elite offensive upside. And once this Ottawa Senators team truly starts to go, and I think we've seen a little bit of a tease from them so far in terms of where they're headed, 3 goals, 3 assists for Stutz. He also has 4 hits so far, 0 penalty minutes, so maybe he's tightened it up. I'm going to go with Stutzle for now, Steele. I hear your angle with Keller. Both of these guys, though, absolute studs. And if for some reason you're in a league, actually, I'm not even going to say it because they're both owned in every single format in every single league. So I'm not even going to go there. However, these are 2 players that I think we need to continue to keep our eye on.
Yeah, for sure. And maybe we get into the debate conversation of who would you choose as well in a keeper league format. I mean, for me, I personally would still go with Clayton Keller. I know Tim Stutzle has the age advantage on him by 3 years, but I mean, Clayton Keller still, he's just getting into his prime right now. And now that he's got that team around him to work with, and he can start taking those scoring opportunities or the shooting opportunities, shoot the puck a little bit more like we've seen the last couple of years. I still think I'm going to give that advantage to Clayton Keller over Tim Stutzle, but both players, phenomenal. They've started off the season very hot for their respective clubs. And again, like we've talked about, we're just waiting for Ottawa to get going. Like we've talked about them for the last 2 seasons about being a playoff team or at least a bubble playoff team. And they've let us down, even though we're Maple Leafs fans. So for me, look, I need to see it. I need to see it this year from Tim Stutzle and the Ottawa Senators.
I think to answer your question, which is a very accurate one, and then let's get to break and let's spit out these big time bets, is I'm actually going to buy into the success of the Ottawa Senators sooner than later over the Utah Hockey Club, whatever. I'm going to look bad calling them the Yeti. I'm not backing down now, Steele.
Don't back down, baby.
The young core is there. They're still going to have their growing pains. And I'm going to go with Linus Ullmark over Vejmelka and Ingram all day, every day, and on Sundays for 100%. Now. So from those angles, I'm still going to go with Timmy. I like what you're bringing up here. Good questions. Let's keep it rolling. Let's keep it rolling on tomorrow's episode as well. Tap in, bets, and all next week, waiver wire as well, and everything you need to dominate these leagues.
The math and the words not adding up now for the boys, but we're getting after it with big time bets. Hopefully that money's adding up for us over this week. That's what we want to see for all of us and our fans out there. That's coming up next. But first, this episode is brought to you by Game Time. You shouldn't have to worry when buying tickets to your next big event. That's why Flip and I always use the Game Time app. Game Time is the fastest and easiest way to buy tickets for all the sports, music, and comedy theater events near you. Game Time has a feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets to your favorite live events even easier. It filters out all the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. Game Time is the only ticketing app that gives you complete peace of mind with your purchase. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last-minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Today's episode is also brought to you by PrizePicks. PrizePicks is the America's #1 daily fantasy sports app with over 5 million active members. The goal is simple. All you do is pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections and watch the winnings pour in all season long. It's the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. You can win 100 times your money on PrizePicks with as little as 4 correct picks. Josh Allen over 250 plus passing yards, Jamar Chase over 2 touchdowns. The possibilities are endless. Download the PrizePicks app today and use code LOCKEDONNHL and get $50 instantly when you play $5. That's code LOCKEDONNHL to get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive this bonus. Just go ahead and do it. It's guaranteed. PrizePicks, run your game. And thank you so much again for making the Locked On Fantasy Hockey Pod your first listen every single day. Continue to hit the subscribe button, the follow button, leave a 5-star review. We appreciate all that love and support you show us Monday through Friday. And we're going to show that love in return with some winning bets for Thursday night, big time bets. Over to you, my friend. You absolutely killed it. You went 3 for 3 with your first night of big time bets. I'm proud of you, buddy.
Appreciate
Absolutely
that.
getting it. Not so much for myself. I'm 2-4-0 on the season so far. These player props have been killing me, but I'm going back to them no matter what
Yes.
because I'm feeling this for Thursday night. But over to you, my
Yes.
friend. I want
Okay.
you to lead us
Well,
off here.
Well, giddy up then. And yeah, we're recording a little early. Don't know what my Wednesday picks are going to shake out to be, even though I was feeling those almost more than my Tuesday picks. So maybe
Yeah.
that's a guarantee 0 for 3. However, I'm with you on the player props. And look, Connor Bedard was held off the score sheet in his previous tilt. They played the Calgary Flames, who are cooking right now. This is not a player who's going to go many games this season without a point. And
Yeah.
I'm not going to talk about the Chicago Blackhawks, the improvements. We've talked about that. They're not going to be a playoff team, but he is already playing with better players, and it's going to mean big things for a guy who I already pegged for triple digits with or without the addition. So he went pointless against the Flames. He will not do so against the San Jose Sharks. First pick on the board, Blackhawks back at home, playing the Sharks. Bedard, anytime assist. In his previous, everything with these young players are going to be small sample sizes. Obviously, 2 games against the Sharks in his career, 2 assists and a goal. I'm liking those numbers, Steele. I don't need the old abacus for that one. Hit me with Connor Bedard, anytime assist. That's my first pick of the night.
Absolutely love the fact that you're starting here with your first pick because I've got a same game parlay with this club right here,
Yes.
Chicago Blackhawks and San
Oh.
Jose Sharks. I'm doing the player props. I'm doing the same game parlay from this matchup.
Give her.
And first pick of the night, Connor Bedard, anytime goal at plus 145 right now. Look, he didn't, like you said, left off the score sheet. He scored once in those 2 games against the San Jose Sharks. He's got 1 goal, 4 assists, I believe, on the season so far. I think this is a tremendous opportunity just to shoot the puck as much as possible. So that leads into my second pick. So first pick, Connor Bedard, anytime goal plus 145. Second pick, Connor Bedard, 4+ shots in this matchup.
Boom.
He has 14 shots so far on the season. I believe he's averaging 3.5, but I expect him to just continue laying that biscuit on the net right now in this upcoming game against the Sharks. So first 2 picks, like I said, Connor Bedard, anytime goal. Connor Bedard, 4+ shots in this matchup. And my lock of the night, Blackhawks money line, minus 184 right now. The Blackhawks are 7-3-0 in their last 10 games. They're on a 4-game winning streak against the San Jose Sharks. Okay. If you even want to, I'm not putting this in there right now for my 3 picks, but I might add it into the parlay. The over 6.5 in this matchup has hit 7 of the last 10 times in this matchup between the Blackhawks and Sharks. So those are my picks. That's my lock of the night. Blackhawks money line minus 184.
Yeah, for the juice, I would maybe swap out the Blackhawks for the over. However, I'm feeling these picks, Steele. I like that you're smashing them into a same game parlay. Second pick for me. The Vancouver Canucks do not look good to start the season. This isn't a bold take. Do I like to see it a little bit as a Ontario boy because Vancouver hockey fans have 0 love for this side of the country? That's okay. Petey, got to step up. Artur Shilovs, I know you're not supposed to be the guy, but you got to be right now. And this team has got to wake up in a hurry. And then they roll into the Florida Panthers barn, notoriously one of the toughest buildings to play in. They're on their East Coast road swing. They just lost to Tampa Bay last night or the night before. This is a tough spot for the Vancouver Canucks, so I'll spit it out. Even though the head-to-head is 5-5-0, basically split down the middle in the last 10 between these 2 teams, I'm going to go with Paul Maurice and the boys at home, hungry and ready. Barkov out, I get it. Doesn't matter to me. Cats on the money line, minus 115, and my lock of the night, Steele. And I dug into the numbers a little bit on this one. How those Dallas Stars looking, Mr. Roden? Been on these guys a little bit heavy over the last couple of years, and I'm not backing down now. Also, going into the Washington Capitals, who, they're an improved group. They're still a bubble playoff team, and the Dallas Stars are a cup threat. 8-2-0, the Dallas Stars in their last 10 games against these Capitals. And I know the teams have changed over the last couple of years, and Washington isn't the same club that Dallas racked up a number of these wins against. However, Dallas is looking deadly, stingy, and effective 3 adjectives that I think are essential to win the cup. So I'm going to spit this one out, Steele. I hope you're liking this breakdown. I think it's pretty fire.
I love it. Absolutely.
Stars on the road into Washington on the money line, -145, getting a pretty good odd right now because they're on the road. Hit me with Dallas as my lock of the night against Washington.
Beautifully well said, well put together. Those Stars have been fire right now. You know, one of those teams like we talked about with the Winnipeg Jets, that Central Division, they're getting after it right now. Those are the big time bets. Those are the lock of the night for Thursday. Big time bets. Thank you so much for making the Locked On Fantasy Hockey Pod your first listen every single day. Make sure for your second listen, you go check out the Locked On NHL podcast, where the season never ends, providing national expertise with a local perspective. You can find the link in the description below. You don't have to search for it. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every single day. From both Flip and I, we wish you good luck with all of your bets tonight, and we shall see you back here again tomorrow.